You aren't lazy. Let me say that again. You are not lazy. If you feel unmotivated, distracted, and unable to stick to your goals, it's not a character flaw. Your brain has been chemically hijacked. Today, we read diving deep into the science of how something called cheap dopamine is rewiring your brain for failure, and most importantly, how to take back control. So what is this cheap dopamine I'm talking about? It's the instant, effortless hit of pleasure you get from things like scrolling through social media, watching endless short-form videos, eating sugary junk food, or playing video games. Our brains are wired to seek pleasure and avoid pain. That's a survival mechanism. Dopamine is the neurotransmitter that drives this seeking behavior. It's the motivation molecule. Historically, dopamine was released when we achieved something that required effort. Hunting for food, building a shelter, or completing a difficult task. The reward felt earned. But in our modern world, we've created a dopamine superhighway. These apps and products are designed by brilliant engineers to be as addictive as possible. They give you a constant stream of novelty, validation, and satisfaction with zero effort. Every like, every new video, every funny meme is a tiny dopamine hit. The problem is, your brain can't tell the difference between dopamine from achieving a lifelong goal and dopamine from watching a cat video. It just knows it got a reward. And like any drug, your brain starts to build a tolerance. It needs more and more stimulation to feel the same level of pleasure. This is where the hijacking happens. The constant flood of cheap, easy dopamine makes normal, effortful activities feel boring and unrewarding. Think about it. Why would your brain want to spend 2 hours struggling to learn a new skill when it can get 100 little pleasure hits in 5 minutes of scrolling? It won't. It's not that reading a book or working on your business isn't rewarding. It's just that the dopamine payoff is delayed. It requires focus, frustration, and pushing through difficulty. Your brain, now accustomed to the instant gratification buffet, sees these activities as a bad deal. It's like trying to convince a kid who only eats candy to enjoy a bowl of broccoli. Their taste buds, or in this case your neural pathways, are literally rewired to crave the quick fix. This leads to a dangerous cycle. You feel unmotivated to do hard things, so you turn to easy distractions for comfort. This floods your brain with more cheap dopamine, which further reduces your motivation for real-world tasks. You end up procrastinating, feeling guilty, and then seeking more distraction to escape that guilt. You're trapped. You know you should be working towards your goals, but you just can't bring yourself to do it. It feels physically and mentally impossible. This isn't laziness. It's a neurochemical trap. Success becomes impossible because the very actions required for success, deep work, consistent effort, and delayed gratification, feel like punishment to your overstimulated brain. So how do we break free? The answer is a concept that's gaining a lot of traction: a dopamine detox. Now, this isn't about eliminating all pleasure from your life. It's about resetting your brain's reward system. It's about starving the beast that craves instant gratification so that you can, once again, find joy and motivation in meaningful pursuits. The core idea of a dopamine detox is to intentionally abstain from high dopamine, low-effort activities for a set period. This could be a day, a week, or even longer. We're talking about no social media, no video streaming, no video games, no junk food, no listening to music constantly just to fill the silence. It sounds extreme, I know. And the first few hours or even the first day will be tough. You'll feel bored, anxious, and restless. This is withdrawal. It's your brain screaming for its usual fix. But this is where the magic happens. When you push through that initial discomfort, your brain's dopamine receptors start to reset. They become more sensitive again. Without the constant fire hose of stimulation, your brain begins to recalibrate to a normal baseline. Suddenly, the world starts to come back into focus. During your detox, you replace those cheap dopamine activities with low dopamine, high effort ones. Things like reading a physical book, writing in a journal, going for a long walk in nature without your phone, meditating, or just sitting with your own thoughts. At first, these things will feel incredibly boring. That's the point. You are teaching your brain to find satisfaction in subtlety and stillness. You're teaching it to generate its own stimulation rather than relying on an external feed. After a period of this fasting, when you reintroduce activities, even simple ones, they will feel incredibly rewarding. A conversation with a friend will feel more engaging. The taste of a healthy meal will be more vibrant. Most importantly, the satisfaction you get from making progress on a difficult task will feel immense. You'll find that focus comes more easily. You will be able to sit and work on a project for an extended period without that nagging urge to check your phone. You've rewired your brain to appreciate the delayed gratification that leads to real, lasting success and fulfillment. Let's make this practical. You don't have to go cold turkey for a month. Start small, try a 24-hour detox this weekend. From Saturday evening to Sunday evening, put your phone away. No screens, no junk food. Plan it out. Get a book you've been meaning to read. Plan a walk or a hike. Tell your friends you'll be offline. Prepare for the boredom and embrace it. See it as a healing process for your brain. Once you've done a short detox, you can start integrating these principles into your daily life. Create no phone zones in your house, like your bedroom. Set specific times for checking social media, rather than letting it be a constant background activity. Use apps that block distracting websites during your work hours. The goal isn't to live like a monk forever. It's to be intentional. It's to be the one in control of your attention and your motivation, not the algorithms. Remember the person you were before you were constantly plugged in? The person who could get lost in a book, who had hobbies that required patience, who could just sit and think. That person is still in there. They're just buried under a mountain of cheap dopamine. By understanding the science and taking intentional steps to reset your reward system, you can reclaim your focus, your motivation, and your ability to build the life you actually want. You are not lazy. You just need to give your brain a chance to heal. Thanks for watching. If this resonated with you, give this video a like and subscribe for more content on how to master your mind and your life. Let me know in the comments if you're going to try a dopamine detox. I'd love to hear about your experience. See you in the next one.